Company.
Tonight on CTV3 News, the wee hours of Sunday morning plays witness to a murder in Orange Walk as Roberto Carlos is gunned down on Saints Alley. The North to benefit from supplementary bill introduced at the House. To what extent did the former Attorney General know about the definitive agreement? He answers to the media. And World Vaccination Report 2023 handed over to Minister of Health Honorable Kevin Bernard at special ceremony in August Pine Ridge, Orange Walk. These are some of the stories we have for you tonight in our newscast for Monday, June 19th, 2023.
And now, the hottest match of the evening. Get ready for action! Here they come. Amazing! They're unstoppable, unbeatable. They have them on the ropes. The heat rises to the top. 1, 2, and 3.
They're on fire! Chiladas!
Fire up the taste of Belize with the new Chiladas crunchy tortilla taco chips in its hot chili flavor. Fiery habanero brings the heat.
They're on fire! Chiladas!
From Snackers, done right, done here.
I wanted to show them something that wasn't an illusion. Something that was real. Something that they could see and touch.
Humans and dinosaurs can't coexist. We created an ecological disaster.
Ellie Sattler.
Alan Grant.
You didn't come out all this way just to catch up now, did you?
You coming or what?
That's another plane, right?
Not exactly.
Don't move.
Good evening. With your news, also simulcast on Fiesta FM 106.7. I am Joanna Rodriguez. The family of a young man found dead on Saints Alley in Orange Walk Town is tonight calling for a thorough investigation into his murder. The incident unfolded around 4 a.m. yesterday, and police are looking for two men who they believe can assist in solving the killing of Roberto Carlos Aragon, who was fatally shot. Our team visited the distraught family this morning, and Elmer Cornejo has the following report.
It was about 4:20 a.m. on Sunday, just before dawn, when at least 8 gunshots rang out on Staines Alley in Orange Walk Town. When the shots receded, 24-year-old Roberto Carlos Aragon lay dead on this pavement, just a stone's throw away from where he lived with his mother. Orange Walk police were alerted of the shooting and quickly responded. When they arrived at the scene, they found Aragon's dead body riddled with bullets. He had received 4 shots to various parts of his body. When we visited the area this morning, our camera lens confirmed at least 4 gunshots mark on the wall of this building. Aragon's oldest sister says the family is still reeling from the dreadful ordeal that has shattered their peace and has brought uncertainty upon them.
He not know somebody when me in a gang or nothing like that. And I don't know. And why I didn't do this to my brother. I still want to know why I didn't do it to him. I don't know what happened. I would have wanted to tell me what happened. I still ask myself why I didn't do this to my brother.
Half an hour earlier to his demise, Aragon arrived home only to tell his mother a few moments later that he would be right back. But the 24-year-old never made it back home. His shooter, or shooters, ensured to that.
He's the only one that was with my mother because he's her eyeball, right? He was the smallest. He and my mother was the closest one. He's the only one that was with her.
And how is your mom holding up with this situation?
My mom, right now, she's all right. I'm having my mother, and I'm not talking to her about it, right? I'm trying to keep her calm. I'm avoiding people from making her cry or something like that, right? She's holding up well, but that's why I don't want siéntate. I don't want nobody to remind her about it, right? I'm trying to keep her calm. He's not someone that used to, you see he out there and he drunk. He, like anybody, he take a beer, he drinks it, but he's not a problematic person. He's not someone that you will see out there drunk and causing problems. He's not like that.
You know what he was doing out there at 4 in the morning?
Well, my mom said he went home, but he went out again. Really and truly, we cannot tell you what happened.
Aragon's family showed us the last picture he took, one he used to apply for his passport. And though he will never be seen alive again, he will live on through the memories left behind.
He was not problematic. He was a young boy that everybody knows him, right? Everybody knew my brother. He never used to get no kind of trouble. Everybody knew he that met somebody that he used to ask for job all about, right? Well, he boy that he work like that. If you like you want chop yard or something like that, he does somebody that he would have do it for make you know, like one hustler, like you know. And everybody that knows him that he don't want calmly boy, he don't know somebody will get trouble. Everybody knew, everybody here.
While the pain is unbearable, Aragon's sister says she awaits justice and answers from the police.
There's a God, and he's the only one that can punish them. That's all I can say.
Police are looking for two men for questioning. Elmer Cornejo, CTV3 News.
Aragon's body awaits a post-mortem examination. And as the family of murdered victim Roberto Carlos Aragon prepared to lay him to rest, police have another murder case to solve. Today, with no motive, cops are relying on evidence hopefully left behind by the shooter or shooters.
On Sunday, the 18th of June 2023, around 4:30 a.m., police responded to a shooting at Steen Alley in Orange Walktown. Upon their arrival, they found the lifeless body of Roberto Aragon, 25 years, with gunshot injuries to the body. He was taken to the hospital where he was pronounced dead on arrival. Information is that he was in the alley. When shots were heard, the police responded and found him motionless there. Investigation into this matter continues.
The family believes that there is surveillance footage from the home of a police officer that lives in that area. Are you able to say if indeed there is surveillance footage?
Investigators are combing the area, and if they find video footage, then that will be obtained. They are on the ground at this time working on the case.
Any motive at this time or any?
Not at this time. We do not know what transpired, what led to this shooting.
Is the victim known to police?
No, he's not known to police.
The headline just discussion during Friday's special sitting of the House of Representatives was without a doubt those surrounding the Portico Definitive Agreement, which saw some fiery exchanges between government and the opposition. As we reported on Friday, these exchanges even resulted in insults being hurled across both sides and a scolding from the Speaker of the House, Honorable Valerie Woods, who chided both sides on their behavior, which was captured by the media. Aside from the back and forth, however, Friday's House sitting saw the presentation of very important bills, including the first supplementary appropriation bill of the year. The bill sought additional expenditure of $69 million for a number of projects and public emergencies, including citizen security here in the North.
The reports of a Mexican cartel exacting violence upon our citizens in northern part of Belize is no secret. This requires urgent and meaningful response. As requested by the police department, we are proposing to immediately allocate $1 million towards this heavy and serious threat to our national security. The St. Matthew's Government School recently burned down to the ground. We are allocating $1 million to build a new school at St. Matthew's Village. The Sarstoon operating base, built less than 10 years ago by the past UDP administration, is uninhabitable and is in a complete state of disrepair. It's sinking and leaning on a side. Urban legend said that when the past Minister of National Security visited and stood up in there, the place had to sink because it was badly constructed. Urban legend said. Nomino said, you recall the sad incident some years ago when a brave BDF soldier lost an eye in an accident at that base. We need to knock it down and build a new base. And I hope that the members of the opposition will also support us to rebuild this base at a cost of $500,000. The Charles Bartlett Hyde building on Mahogany Street, which will house the Vital Statistics Unit, the Family Court, the Legal Aid Center, and the Magistrate Courts buildings in Belize City, and Belmopan require extensive repair and renovation at a cost of $1.9 million. For the judiciary, we will allocate a further $500,000 to fund the cost of 3 new senior court judges expected to join us as soon as September of this year.
The opposition, however, did not take well to the bill, which they say comes only 2 months after the presentation of the budget for this fiscal year.
We are 60 days removed from a budget being presented in this honorable House, Madam Speaker, and it is unprecedented that a supplementary would be brought to this House a mere 60 days removed from the reading of the budget and the passing of the budget, Madam Speaker. And then you claim that the taxes are performing, the economy is growing. So how is it that you're not planning sufficiently, Madam Speaker? It reeks of incompetence. You are like a blind man leading all these other blind men, and you're feeling your way through the dark. And you've proven that for the last 3 fiscal years. And this is no different. You start earlier this fiscal year.
Plan properly, spend properly, and then we won't have any problems. There are some of these things which we absolutely agree need to happen, but not in the format that you are bringing it to us like some kind of emergency situation. That is what the supplementary is for. So it means that your process of preparing the budget is flawed.
A large part of the funds is being earmarked for the Ministry of Infrastructure, Development and Housing to aid in ongoing works in rural areas across the country, according to Minister Julius Espat.
$21 million in infrastructure for 9 municipalities is not a lot of money when it pertains to infrastructure. You're looking at about $2.3 million per municipality, which I think you could get maybe 2-3 streets for that. But it's 2 or 3 streets more than we had before. And as the Prime Minister will tell you, I tirelessly lobby in cabinet for more finances so that our people, the Belizean people, can have better infrastructure, because we believe that better infrastructure leads to a better economy. In the rural areas, our residents are tired of living in the dust balls where they get sick, where they can't hang out their clothes, they can't eat their food healthy. It's a problem, and we're dealing with it one by one. So that's following Plan Belize. We start with the Caracol Road. When we got into government, the mandate given to us was to look, analyze, as we have done, and the Prime Minister explained with the definitive agreement, look, analyze, and see how we can move forward to make sure that the people's money is spent efficiently. With the Caracol Road, we saved $25 million. And we are now, and we have just gotten in the bids, to be able to resurface the highway, the George Price Highway, from San Ignacio to Benqueviejo, with the proceeds of that savings. So the Belizean people, through the changes that we did on the Caracol Road, will be able to finance the road on the George Price Highway, the section between San Ignacio and Benqueviejo, at no extra cost. It was based on the savings that we incurred. The Philip Golston Highway, the Remate project, bypass project, we saved $6 million. Presently, work has started that we have divided the proceeds of those savings. $3 million will go to Orange Walk Town, $3 million will go to Corozal Town. Madam Speaker, I think you will be happy with that, to be able to help those municipalities based on the savings that we were able to do on that project.
Michael Perfit, the former Attorney General, today faced the media in regard to his involvement with the infamous definitive agreement. At last Friday's House sitting, the Prime Minister placed on record that Perfit, if at least through his law firm, had involvement of some sort with the DA. We backtrack a little for better understanding. Portico Enterprise Limited sent out a release on June 1st, 2023, where it made an intent to iron out the relationship between them and Morales Perfit LLP. The release was sent out when the former AG tried to distance himself from having any knowledge of the DA. Here is how he broke it down.
I have always maintained publicly that I knew that there was a definitive agreement going around when we were in government for Portico, because they actually tried to have me sign one. I never saw it, I never saw one, I never read it, I never advised on it or anything like that. But I knew there was one because they wanted me to sign one. When I say I was not aware of the definitive agreement, I mean I wasn't aware that it was signed. When we left government, I fully was assuming that because I refused to sign it, and because it never came up in any investment committee meeting, nor ever went to cabinet, that it was not signed. Earlier this year, when I was in Miami on business, I was told that there was one that was signed. I was shocked. And so when I wrote to the Prime Minister in early March to say, Prime Minister, I heard that there was an executed definitive agreement. Of course, I got no response from him. He didn't answer me because I requested the document. And then it was only after it was leaked out of cabinet for the first time I saw a signed definitive agreement. But clearly, if I have said before that they wanted me to sign one, then clearly I heard that there was one going around. But I never read it, I never looked at it, I never analyzed it. The PM then read a letter that was sent to me that he claims that it was addressed to me that said, "Good day, Minister, I trust you have been keeping safe." I doubt very much that David Morales, my law partner at the time, would have referred to me in that way. He said, "I've instructed by Mr. David, get to forward the attached document." But this is emailed to Ministry of Investment, Trade and Commerce. This is not me. I never used that email.
One thing that is factual is that the definitive agreement was signed under the United Democratic Party's reign in government by then Minister of Economic Development, Erwin Contreras. Now that the controversial document has resurfaced, those in opposition are all washing their hands like Pontius Pilate.
Let's just say it was sent to me. Let's just say it was. So what? The fact of the matter is, I did not sign it. I did not execute it. I told them, hell no. And if he's trying to imply, you see, trying to put up some smoke screen and some red herring around the situation, he's trying to imply that somehow I gained illegally from that definitive agreement or the signing of it, which is rubbish. I have been the one pressing it for the past couple months to have an investigation, to look into why it was executed and to look into why it was brought to cabinet.
As the days transition, more information is being made public on the controversial document. The most recent uncovering is that of an email sent to former Minister of Investment, Trade and Commerce, Honorable Tracy Panton. Additionally, in the House, the Prime Minister revealed that 17 titles for lands next to the Northern Lagoon were issued just a few days before the November 2020 general elections by the then Minister of Natural Resources, Uko Pat. Those properties were then sold to Portico. If that is true, Perifit says all those involved should be called to a Senate inquiry.
No, it doesn't necessarily mean that at all. When you're in government, people send you all kinds of things every day, all day, And if someone, even if that agreement was sent to Honorable Panton at the time, that doesn't mean that Honorable Panton was involved in anything bad. She was sent a definitive agreement. So what? Because how she handled it is the question. The way I handled it, I said, don't send that to me at all. Send that to the Honorable Tracy Panton because she is the chair, and then she would then bring it to the investment committee and then to cabinet. That was the procedure, and Portico knew of that procedure. So maybe they sent it to her after I told them don't send it to me. But she obviously may have received it or not received it. But even if she received it, she clearly did not sign the definitive agreement, which means I would have to say that clearly she indicated to them, come on, this is not the stage we're at yet. We were not in the habit of dealing with those things until we know that environmental clearance was had, and all of these things led to a definitive agreement. Well, then the former Minister of Natural Resources would have to explain that. That is something that he would have to go through. I noticed that a lot of PUP may get the land. I see names like Andrew Bennett and names like that that clearly make no apologies for their political positions, which they shouldn't. But those people will have to explain how they got that land and for what purpose. And the former minister, he himself, will have to explain how he got that. Maybe he had a good reason for giving them. I don't know. We have to explore that. But if the current government believes that those lands should not have been given out to those people, they are the current government. They can easily, compulsorily acquire it back and pay back those people the monies that they paid for it. If there are any obstacles, it won't be from me, and I hope to be the first witness.
Do you think that it will also involve Mr. Contreras as well as the Prime Minister?
Well, the Senate, they should. The Senate inquiry, the committee will decide which witnesses they want to call, and we will see who they call. But they should call everybody who can explain the situation.
Have you gotten in touch with Ms. Tracy, and has she relayed anything to you regarding the email?
No, not since Friday. I have not spoken to the Honorable Tracy Panton since Friday. but we had discussed the matter earlier, and she did indicate to me that as well, she had no idea that there was a signed definitive agreement. And none of us did. I was aware before we left government that there was one going around because they asked me to sign it. I said, hell no. But I was of the genuine belief that there was no such thing as a signed definitive agreement until it was produced after that May 15 cabinet meeting last month.
With all the back and forth, one thing is for sure, and that is that the definitive agreement as formulated now is in the trash bag.
Now, let me tell you something about your corrupt definitive UDP definitive agreement that was not approved by my cabinet. We did not approve it. I am telling you right now, this no good for nothing. So all of that nice one to make, no good, nothing. You know why? Because we are going to do what's right by Belize. The hypocrisy of these people. We will discuss with the key stakeholders, including Royal Caribbean, one of the leading cruise lines in the world, as well as our legitimate partners. And with full transparency, Madam Speaker, we will do only what is good for the tourism industry and good for Belize. We will be fair, and we will proceed only with the approval of the Cabinet and this Honourable House, Madam Speaker.
William Neal, former journalist and broadcaster who currently works as communications director for Belize Sugar Industries Limited, American Sugar Refining, BSI ASR, lost his home in the Vista Del Mar area outside of Ladyville, Belize district to fire over the weekend. According to police, Neal left his residence around 2 p.m. Saturday afternoon. On Sunday morning around 10:15, his neighbor alerted Neal upon seeing smoke coming from his roof and also called the police. Fire service personnel extinguished the fire, but not before it consumed the entire content of the house, which value is unknown and was not insured. The house, however, was insured. Today, police provided the little information they have on the fire to the media.
On Sunday, the 18th of June 2023, police responded to a fire at Vista Del Mar. Upon their arrival, a building was seen engulfed in flames. Thereafter, police received a report from William Neal, who reported that a neighbor called him, informing that his house was on fire. He then went to his residence, where he saw the building engulfed in flames. All the contents in the building were destroyed. We are awaiting the fire department report to determine if they can see what was the cause of that fire.
At this time, is an angle of foul play being investigated?
We do not know. Again, Mr. Neal reported he left his house and he was called by the neighbor. That is all the information there is.
Coming up next, we'll tell you about the State of the World's Children 2023 report by UNICEF. Stay tuned.
If you're lucky, no matter what life hands you, you can always count on your closest friends to be there.
Oh, thank you. My purse was exhausted.
We are all blissfully unaware when our lives are about to change.
Life is full of surprises.
I'm ready to lose my virginity.
Excuse me?
I got the list.
What list? There's a whole brouhaha at school about this MILF list.
For real?
Our lunchtime fodder is not usually this lowbrow, I swear.
Really? Who have you been eating with?
It's a big step up for Che and me.
I've been having exit out of grief sex. It's just sex.
The world has changed since you've been out there. Men have feelings too.
Life's too short not to try something new. And just like that, I realized some things are better left in the past. But maybe not everything.
I'm most pleased to report that the nation that we have been able to secure roughly $90 million for the construction of a new 150-bed modern national referral tertiary care hospital in Belize. Given the vulnerability of KHMH to hurricanes and floods, the strategic placement of this hospital in Babapan represents an important part of our climate resiliency building strategy in the provision of health care.
Come on!
When hungry or craving, when laughter or tears, enjoy the best snacking or flavors are here. Asadas, bocadas, chiladas, doradas, delicious for snacking, done right and done here.
Done right, done here.
Attorney General Magali Maureen Young is rescinding office at the end of June and returned to private practice. The Prime Minister has indicated that they already found her replacement. However, the name of that person won't be revealed until Cabinet approves. Since the announcement of Maureen's evacuation from the post, there has been much talk if it has anything to do with the controversial definitive agreement. Of course, the government of the day has indicated from the onset that Maureen had indicated upon taking office that she would serve in that post for 2 years only. But for the opposition, Maureen's decision to demit office is suspicious.
So then it begs the question, doesn't it? If you have an Attorney General that you know will retire or will demit office in 2.5 years, then the minute that time comes, you should have already had a person in place to replace her. We still, to this day, don't know who will be the new AG. And don't get me wrong, you know. Honorable Magali Maureen Young has every right to say, look, I have served my country for a couple of years and I'm willing to step down. There's no problem with that. There's no criticism of that. However, the question goes to the Prime Minister. Where was your plan if, according to you, you knew the AG would be stepping down? Who will be the new AG? What's the transition process? It's a very, very important ministry, especially given that what the topic of the day is concerns a paper that you say you would take to the AG's ministry for her legal opinion. So that will be a gaping hole left there. We are a country of laws. We come to Parliament to pass laws. They need to name an AG very quickly, and the country needs to know who that person will be.
Ministry of Health personnel, including Minister of Health Kevin Bernard, gathered today in the community of August Pine Ridge here in the Orange Walk District for the official launch of the State of the World's Children 2023 report by UNICEF in Belize. This year's report focuses on vaccination and detailing the global impact the pandemic had on children's health, while also advocating for critical measures to be implemented to regain health losses in different countries. UNICEF representative in Belize, Alison Parker, today highlighted the immense impacts caused by the COVID-19 pandemic for childhood immunization.
In the Latin America and Caribbean region where Belize finds itself, unfortunately, over the last 2 years, in the post-COVID-19 pandemic, we've seen a deteriorating report on the coverage of immunization. We are formerly one of the highest in the region. However, we've seen a significant dip. The COVID-19 pandemic actually amplified what had already been a downward trend over the last 5 years. These reports highlight that the Latin American region has been on the decline for the last 5 years, but the COVID-19 pandemic actually highlighted this even more. What does this tell us? That in as much as we make important gains in our healthcare system, it is fundamental that we sustain the gains made and help to accelerate them. If we take our eyes off the ball, then the important gains that we've made over the years will be rescinded. The 2023 SOWC, as we call it, State of the World Children's Report, presents findings from a comprehensive assessment of the status of routine childhood immunization. The report highlights key challenges and opportunities for immunization, including backsliding during the pandemic, reaching zero-dose children and missed communities, and the importance of investing in primary healthcare and healthcare workers to ensure increased and sustained investment in immunization coverage. The report, from a global perspective, warns that 67 million children missed out on one or more vaccination over the 3 years of the COVID-19 pandemic due to service disruption caused by a combination of strained health systems and diversion of scarce resources, sometimes conflict or political instability, fragility, and demand issues, some of these to which Belize can definitely attest to. The report also includes an analysis of new data from the Vaccine Confidence Project, which found that more than 80% of respondents thought vaccines are important. The perceived importance of childhood vaccines, though it fell during the pandemic period in 52 or 55 countries surveyed, yet we still consider that vaccination is crucial to the survival and development of children.
Unvaccinated or under-vaccinated children, according to UNICEF, have also been correlated to poverty and other inequalities like minorities and indigenous people.
The report provides some important areas for development and some good news. What are some of the important areas for development? It showed gross inequity between vaccination and the poor. Some of the data showed that families from poor communities, minorities, indigenous and ethnic groups were the most left behind in terms of vaccination coverage. So as we look at the state of the world's children today, and as we really came out to Pine Ridge to be able to be in one of the outstations from the main city, we're actually investing in the most vulnerable and hard to reach. The report also highlights that mothers who are not highly educated tend to miss out. The children of mothers who are not highly educated tend to miss out on vaccination much more. So there's a direct correlation between gender empowerment and the vaccination of our children. This report also makes a very strong call on investing in women's empowerment, gender empowerment, if we are going to see an increase in immunization for children.
This edition of the State of the World's Children reports that in just 3 years, the world has lost more than a decade of progress. Here in Belize, 17% of our children are classified as zero vaccinated. This, according to Parker, makes the call for action even more important.
Unfortunately, in Belize, 17% of our children are zero dose. 1,121 children are missing out on any vaccine at all. In a country of this size, it is possible that we can leave no child behind. They are concentrated in geographical locations, which is Toledo. They spread across the country, but the highest amount is Toledo. I believe that together, with dedicated and targeted investment, we can make a change. And by the next State of the World's Children's Report, every child in Belize can be vaccinated. Is that a possibility? I believe so. Finally, what is the cost of not taking action? Unless urgent and dedicated action is taken to restore and rapidly accelerate child and adolescent immunization, there's a major risk that the Agenda 2030 will be lost and will not be realized for a country such as Belize. The Agenda 2030 aims to leave no one behind with immunization and calls on all countries to reduce the number of zero-dose children by half, at least, by 2030. I believe for Belize, we can actually achieve 100%. The backslide has placed us much further behind than we were before the pandemic to reach these targets. The sort of united and unprecedented global effort that is necessary to put this forward is pivotal. And this will take us at national, regional, and global level to make this happen. For us as UNICEF, we have 3 calls for you, sir. First, we need to vaccinate children missed during the pandemic, restore disrupted immunization services, and accelerate progress to achieve the Immunization Agenda 2030. Secondly, we want to ensure and increase equitable, affordable access to and use of existing and new vaccines. Accessibility, affordability is crucial. Can the families access the vaccines? And if so, is it available? Also, is it affordable? Affordability is not just the cost of the vaccine, but the bus fare to get to the facility in order to get the vaccines. The third part is to strengthen our immunization programs to sustainably reach target population with full vaccination and essential primary caregivers. A healthy nation is fundamental to the development of all.
Today's launch also saw the handing over of cold chain equipment through a donation by UNICEF and the government and people of Japan.
With funding from UNICEF and the government of Japan, we were able to strengthen the network through the procurement of essential cold chain equipment and medical supplies. As a result, Belize now has the capacity to store any type of vaccine, regardless of temperature requirements. In addition to our work in immunization, the Ministry of Health and Wellness, in collaboration with UNICEF and other partners, established the Quality Improvement Unit in May of 2022, focusing on maternal, newborn, and child health. We are now considering upgrading this unit to a quality management directorate encompassing all clinical settings and support services. We must be forward thinkers within the Ministry of Health. UNICEF technical assistance has also contributed to the success of the Baby-Friendly Hospital Initiative, increased exclusive breastfeeding rates, and reduced stunting rates in children under 5 years old. I must say that just last week, I returned from Barbados over the weekend, and Belize has been heralded for the many initiatives that we have been able to do, and thanks to our partners with UNICEF, PAHO, and other UN agencies who continue to support Belize in its efforts. Again, as I said, let me repeat that part that I said, that we have reduced stunting rates in children under 5 years old. Furthermore, our joint efforts have led to a decline in maternal mortality rates, with the last institutional death occurring in January 2022, and the last maternal death in June of 2022.
Today's handing over included 2 banned new vehicles to be used in vaccinated efforts in the Orange Walk and Corozal districts, as well as a slew of other medical and cold storage equipment. There are thousands of persons that are on the government of Belize payroll, and beginning today and culminating on Friday, the Public Service Commission has planned the Public Service Week. The week is set aside to highlight the work of all ministers and their departments. In the north, the activities kicked off with a church service in both Orange Walk and Corozal. We had a quick chat via Zoom this evening with representatives from the Corozal and Orange Walk Planning Committee, who told us what we can expect for this year's Public Service Week, which is being celebrated under the theme Belize Public Service, Selfless Services, Dedicated Hearts, celebrating the value and virtue of public officers to Belize's progression.
Tomorrow, Tuesday, we are having our health walk, only because Orange Walk Health Walk is at 3 p.m. and not 6 a.m. like Corozal. Due to participation, we decided to have it at 3 p.m., which will be, we will assemble at Hospital Crescent in front of Sandy Hunter Library. From there, we will proceed to Queen Victoria Avenue, Belize Corozal Road, Guadalupe Street, into San Antonio Road, into Baker Street, then into Main Street, and we are back at Hospital Crescent in front of library. That will be the route for our health walk tomorrow. Okay, Wednesday is our open day, information day slash health fair. We will be at the Central Park. We have so far 8 departments who stated that they will be out there showcasing, which is fire department, forestry, police department, income tax, custom department, PDF, election and boundaries, and the Northern Regional Hospital, which is Ministry of Health, will be out there showcasing. That will be from 8 a.m. to midday. Friday is appreciation day for all the departments, as Friday is the official public service day. Therefore, each department will be honoring their 10, 15, 20, and 30 years of service employees.
Tomorrow evening, public servants will engage in a six-a-side football match. Interestingly, one of the singular activities that is hoping to bring about much exposure and support is a fashion show. Education Officer Miriam Codd explains.
Tomorrow morning at 5:30, I know Miss Daniela is saying the Orange Walk crowd wanted to do it in the afternoon for different reasons. We are out at 5:30 in the morning and we are ready to walk by 6 a.m. from in front of the police station. So we'll take a nice long walk through the principal streets of Corozal Town, all the way up to the Roundhouse and then back. We have support. Some departments have already committed to this walk tomorrow, so they'll bring out their banners and their shirts that they use at the departments. To promote the walk, walk of proud to be a public officer walk, and also to promote healthy living, healthy lifestyle. That walking in the morning is a means of keeping healthy, of staying healthy. It's not the only means, but it is a great means for public officers because we sit a lot and we work a lot in places where we're confined to spaces.
Corozal Town is also hosting an Officer Appreciation Day on Thursday, culminating the week with an Information Day at the Corozal Market Square from 8:30 a.m. until midday. The aim of Public Service Week is to educate Belizeans on the services that are provided by the different government departments. Belize will have representation at an international billiards tournament. This is possible after a local billiards competition took place over the weekend in Belmopan City. At the end, the 5 winners were selected to represent Belize in the international competition scheduled in July of this year. The local tournament was a double elimination, and on day 2, Orange Waqueño, Nain Rosado, secured the first place undefeated throughout the tournament. Today, Rosado told us how he is now preparing to meet his international opponents in Guatemala.
It was a Belikin tournament, nationals, and there were 52 players. And they were the best players in the country, and I was fortunate enough to win the first place.
When you won first place, what was the first thing that came to your mind? How did you feel?
Oh, it was a great experience, but I trained hard, so I expected something like this. Me personally, I do a lot of training by myself on a daily basis, and that's for me. That's what I use to always perform at a high level. No?
Okay. Now that you're going to Guatemala, when is it that you're going, and what you want to tell the public?
Oh, we're going on July 13th to the 15th, and basically we're looking for some sponsors. It will be a bit costly.
Okay.
So
you're looking for sponsors to go there?
Yeah, looking for sponsors to try to be able to finance the trip.
And that's the news. We invite you to join us for another newscast on Tuesday, June 20th here on CTV3 and Fiesta FM 106.7. Remember that to read a text version of the news, you can visit our website at ctv3belizenews.com. You can also log on to our Facebook page for current stories at facebook.com/ctv3belizenews or our YouTube channel at CTV3 News BZ. Remember to wash your hands and remain safe. From all of us here at CTV3 News, thank you for watching and listening. Good night.